Yo, this your boy Fireworks. It's Snooper's Gonna Snoop YouTube channel. We're back with another review. I got my guy Dizzie Wallace here with me. We're gonna review and give you all a review and our summary of how we felt about Black Widow. We went to see that movie last night. We're gonna give you all a review. If this is your first time here, make sure you go down and hit the like button so I can stay in the algorithm. I wanna continue to give you all content. And make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything I got going on. Snooper's Gonna Snoop, we back.
Snoopers gonna snoop, Snoopers gonna snoop, Snoopers gonna snoop, bitch, not bitch.
So let me know your thoughts. Let me go ahead and tell me how you felt about it.
Well, man, I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed it. Kind of in my personal opinion, it's kind of an odd start to Phase 4, but then, Iron Man 3 was kind of an odd start to Phase 2. Wasn't the strongest, so I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the film quite a bit. Is it the most perfect MCU movie I've ever seen? No. You know what I'm saying? I sort of put it in like the in-between space in terms of the really good MCU movies and then like the ones that are not so great, So I sort of put it in the middle somewhere. In terms of it setting up future events for Phase 4 like I thought it was going to do, I think it did a good job in setting up the character development for Yelena Belova, who is going to be the new Black Widow going forward. Florence Pugh did an amazing job. She definitely nailed that role. She's a great actress anyway. One of the movies that she was in a couple of years ago called Midsummer, which a lot of you all have probably seen already. She was phenomenal in that. She was in the remake of Little Women. She's been in some other movies over the last couple of years. So she definitely knocked that out of the park. I like her and Natasha's dynamic in the film. That was the biggest thing for me. That was one of the things that I was really looking forward to a lot. The other main thing that I thought the movie did well, in my opinion, it was one of the things that I was really looking forward to, just coming off of Endgame. When Natasha sacrificed herself in Endgame, it was really unexpected, but when I saw Endgame for the first time, I was really, when I saw it for the first time, I was kind of, I was really not necessarily taken aback, but kind of surprised as to how the thought of her sacrificing herself for a cause that she didn't even know that was going to work. She did it with such peace, and she was so sure that she had to do it. And like I said, her sacrifice was unexpected. So when Marvel Studios announced that they were going to do a Black Widow movie, I was like, okay, well, obviously this is going to be a prequel. I kind of hope that we're not going to go back to like when she was, a child, which they did in the movie, but they didn't show like her whole entire journey of going through the whole Red Room process and how she became a Black Widow. Like by the end of the movie, she became, the Black Widow that we know. I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't do that, because throughout the MCU for the last 10 years, she would talk about it here and there. I don't think it was really a story that needed to go into a whole lot of detail. So when they announced that it was going to be between Captain America, between the events of Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, I was like, okay, well, we'll be able to see that 2-year gap that we hear a whole lot about, the whole Budapest thing, what she's been up to, being on the run and all that. And the most important thing that I was looking for was what happened to her in those 2 years that made her come to that decision that she would end up making in Avengers Endgame. When it came to Florence Pugh, and when it came to the setup for her sacrifice that would come in Endgame, I was really, really satisfied with those things. Some people are saying that this Black Widow movie is a send-off for Natasha's character. Endgame was the send-off for her, in my opinion.
I agree too.
I just think that because she made such a monumental sacrifice, they kind of wanted to use this movie as a tribute to her. And which I think is cool, and I've heard some people say, well, it's kind of a pointless movie, and I think if you look at it, on the surface, it could be. I mean, if we're talking about it setting up future events for Phase 4, it really doesn't do much of that. But there are other things about the film that I like. David Harbour's Red Guardian, that was one of the best things about the movie. He was major comic relief, and I hope he comes back.
Hope he comes back fit though. Like
Yeah,
I want to see the
yeah.
comic book version.
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
Like I was hoping that maybe we got a chance to see him when he was in his younger form and wearing it,
Yeah.
and then when he got older, and but they just showed when he was older. I wanted to see what he really looked like in his prime, because there's three. Now that we've seen Falcon Winter Soldier, we've seen the first black super soldier. We do know that Captain Britain was the first British super soldier, and now we have the first Russian super soldier, which is the Red Guardian. I just wanted to see all of them in their prime element. I feel like we've only seen Steve Rogers really, and kind of Sam. We really didn't even get to see the first black super soldier in like a back clip of him, younger. I want to see what those guys was like when, because I mean, in all honesty, now that we've got Black Widow, all their movies that are grounded on Earth, they're the better movies. Like this, I feel like this is just a lower line of a Captain America movie.
Right.
I feel like if you don't like this movie, I feel like you're falling in the cracks with different things, because if I'm satisfied, even though I didn't get everything that I wanted, I'm satisfied because one, the action was on the level was on the level of a Captain America movie. So I already rock with the action, the martial arts, and then on top of that, like, you get to actually see Natasha take some beatings in this. She hit some tables at some things pretty hard in this movie that she normally you just kind of see her flying off back and whip her head back. Like, she was hitting some tables and getting punched out, and you normally don't see good-looking women get beat up like that on the normal. So it does kind of make you feel away. Can't lie, like it did make me feel away seeing her get her ass, punched in the face and just, kind of just demoralized. It was just kind of messed up, but all in all, I thought the movie was really good. We again, as fans, we shouldn't listen to everything that we hear, because there was supposed to be an X-Man in this movie that was rumored a long time ago. This whole Budapest scene with Hawkeye is just complete Thanos dust. We're never gonna get that, so we got.
They explained, they talked about it a little bit, but the Budapest, that whole thing, like, that has been teased for the better part of last decade, and just when they mentioned it in the movie, I was like, okay, so I see what happened, but it didn't turn out to be like the big secret that it was teased to be, like, over the last decade or whatever. But I mean, that was like one of the minor things in the movie to me. Like my expectations for Black Widow going in, I didn't have super high expectations or whatever. Like, Black Widow, with Natasha Romanoff, I always respected her character, but she was never really like one of my absolute favorites. But I really stood behind her, and liked her even more because of what she did in Endgame. That, like I said, that was really profound to me. So when it came to to her getting her own movie, and I was like, you know what, she really deserves her own time. I mean, even before she sacrificed herself, she was an important part of the Avengers team. She stood her ground amongst all these dudes or whatever. And in terms of hand-to-hand combat, she's definitely one of the best. Well, her and Steve Rogers, in terms of hand-to-hand combat, I mean, they're freaking incredible. And Yelena Belova in this movie, hand-to-hand combat, she's gonna be the absolute force going forward. And I do like the fight scenes between Natasha and Taskmaster. The Taskmaster twist was something that I did not expect. When I found out that they gender swapped it, I was like, okay, I can I can kind of see that. I see why they would do it, because everything is about inclusion nowadays. Which, I mean, like I said, I really don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Include all the important stuff that's going on in today's world and all that stuff. Make sure everybody gets in there. I'm for that. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm cool with it. That didn't bother me as much. I would have liked for Taskmaster to have more screen time.
Yeah, they didn't lie when they said Taskmaster was in and out of that movie.
Yeah,
They didn't lie.
Yeah. And the closer we got to the release of the movie, Ray Winstone's character, Draco, was said to be, the main villain of the movie, and the Taskmaster was going to be like, was going to be like Draco's right hand or whatever. And so I was like, okay, that's not really, that's really not that big of a deal. I can deal with that. But the one thing that I wish they would have gone into more detail about, and they probably will if Taskmaster does come back, which I think he will, but I think he will come back in the form of who he really is, because in the comics, Taskmaster's real identity is he goes by Tony Masters. I don't know how they're going to bring him back, but if they don't bring him back, it's going to be another Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 situation where you have really interesting villains that are really not utilized in the way that they should be. Like, you have Whiplash from Iron Man 2, who I think is a cool and interesting villain in of himself, but like, he only had 2 action sequences, the one at the racetrack and one towards the end where he was really able to fuck some shit up or whatever. And then like Iron Man 3, we had the fake Mandarin thing. Like, the Mandarin is Iron Man's, arch enemy in the comics. Before that movie came out, I was really, really excited about to see what they were going to do with the Mandarin, and then it just turned out to be what it was, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
I forget what the dude's name was that played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. I forget his actual.
It was like Trevor Slattery.
Yeah, Trevor Slattery.
Slattery or something like that. I was like, bruh. Yeah, but anyway. So if they don't bring Taskmaster back, it's going to be another instance where they kind of fucked up once again in terms of using the cool, having cool, interesting villains in there and just not utilize them the way that they should. But if they're going to bring him back, I'll be, I'll be more at peace with what they did with Taskmaster in this movie. Not enough screen time still, but like I said, it's not. I ain't gonna lose no sleep over it or nothing like that. He's gonna come back. I truly believe that.
How do you feel about the timing of this film now? Now that even though COVID has happened, because this movie was supposed to come out a long time ago, but I've let it process for a while. Last night I felt the same way, and I still feel this way, that this movie is a good movie. But as far as timeline placement, I think that they failed. They get like an F+ for me. The movie was so damn good that, to me, this should have been right after Civil War. The way they dropped in Captain Marvel, I mean, you don't even have to give her the same amount of promotion, because Natasha would have been perfect for that time, and this movie would have been perfect. The only thing that kind of juts this movie out of being in that time frame is the post-credit scene. If you see Contessa then, and then we pick back up and don't see her until Falcon and Winter Soldier, even if we did see her earlier like we were supposed to, I still think that would have been a hell of a jump to bring Contessa in at that point in time, when it's just way too early. And another thing that I felt that might have taken it out of place too is how you feel about Taskmaster. Taskmaster being gender swapped and not being the real one in the sense of how Trevor Slattery was for Iron Man 3 and the Mandarin. I feel like that would have been way too early to do that jinx for them to try to reboost. Like, if you were gonna give me that then and keep that in there, then you would have been right in this Phase 4 series. You would have had to give me a Widows TV series, because that's what they're doing right now.
Right.
Or give me a movie coming up. And to be honest, I said this last night too, just thinking off the top of my head, that this film is the only film that connects the TV shows, because Contessa is the only thing that connects the TV shows and the movies together right now. They told us that a lot of these TV shows were gonna jump into the movies and back and forth, and we haven't seen that yet. Contessa being at the post-credit scene of this Black Widow film and being in the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier is a great look. I was kind of confused because I didn't think Yelena would be a Thunderbolt. So now it kind of puts the role of what Contessa is doing in a different light. Is she really doing a Thunderbolt, or is she doing another separate, like the Dark Avengers, or is she doing like a Young Avengers team? Is now we got to figure out what she's here to do. Maybe the next time we see her, we'll get a better idea, because after Falcon and Winter Soldier and her recruiting John Walker, we automatically thought, this has got to be either West Coast Avengers or it's got to be Thunderbolt. It's got to be one of the two.
Yeah, I mean, we make our predictions and stuff all the time, but like it's so hard to tell because you never know what they're gonna throw at you. I mean, you really don't. Because the end game was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't know that Natasha was gonna sacrifice herself like that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of took me out a little bit, and then you know what I'm saying? Then of course, Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? And, Captain America really didn't get to me as much. Like I said, I will miss seeing him. Of course, there's been all these rumors and stuff. He's supposed to come back and all this stuff. I don't know if he's ever going to come back. If he didn't, I would be okay with that because we have a new Captain America. You know what I'm saying? It's Sam Wilson's time. He is Captain America right now. We do have one. So yeah. But anyway. But as far as what you was talking about the timeline, now I do agree. I knew that the movie was going to suffer a little bit because of COVID and it being pushed back a total of 4 times. But what's so surprising is that the overall reaction to the movie has been positive, even though there has been quite a bit of a delay from its original release date to to this to this weekend. But but it still has a overall positive reaction. People have been going out to the theaters to actually watch this. A lot of people have. It's the first MCU movie that we've had in theaters in 2 years. So so you do have that excitement about it. But I agree with what you told me last night. I believe this film would have worked well even if it came out after Civil War.
Oh yeah, even
you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I think it definitely would have hit more back then. But I think because of the introduction of new characters and just the decisions that they made as to where these characters were going to go, like you needed this movie to be the kick-off for Phase 4 because partly due to the fact that they're introducing Yelena Belova, who is going to be Black Widow from here on out. And that's the thing about Phase 4 too. I think Phase 4 is the phase of transitions. Like, especially this early part of Phase 4, we're going to see new characters being introduced, then the characters that we have already lived with for a while, them coming into their true identity or what is the word that I want to use, the phrase I want to use. They're basically like morphing into their ultimate identity, with Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch. That was her true destiny. That's who she was always supposed to be. It just took some time to get there. Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. Bucky, I don't know if he's going to, they call him White Wolf in Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's how the Wakandans look at him. I don't know if we're going to see a full, White Wolf transition or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even Zemo becoming a part of, the rumor, him becoming part of, Valentina's team, Thunderbolts and all that. But to me, I think Phase 4 is mostly going to be just it's going to be the introduction of new characters and the characters that we've lived with for a long time, them getting, transformed into their ultimate personas, the stuff that they've been working towards for a long time. And then like when phase 5, phase 6 hits, phase 5, I believe we're going to get another Avengers movie, but they have to do the setup
Right.
in order for the impact of what happened in the last 3 phases to be just as big or even bigger. And we're not going to get into another Avengers movie real quick, but see, that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? We have time to spend, quality time with characters, to get to know them, to conjure up those feelings that we had from the last 3 phases. All that time that we spent with Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Thor, the rest of the Avengers team. We had to have time to get used to them and really be connected to them. So by the time we got to Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, the impact of those movies hit a lot harder because of the threat levels that they face. You know what I'm saying? It just really all becomes about characters and stuff. Monica Rambeau was just introduced. I'm really, one of the Phase 4 movies that I'm really excited about is the Marvels. I really want to see that transition from Carol Danvers becoming, Carol Danvers being Captain Marvel, and then also Monica Rambeau also assuming that title at some point. I don't think it's gonna be right away.
Right.
But but like I said, this is the time of transitions. But I think Black Widow did a good job in the transition of, Natasha, getting her swan song of sorts or whatever, and now it's about Yelena Belova, and I can't wait to see Yelena in the Hawkeye series. I can't wait to see the dynamic between her and Clint Barton, and even the dynamic between her and Kate Bishop. That's going to be really interesting to see. It's like you said last night, the Hawkeye series was one of those where it's just sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna check it out, but I don't know if it's gonna be like,
It didn't have much of a snowball effect. I was kind of confused about the post-credit scene. I think the post-credit scene was confusing for me, because if Contessa showed her Hawkeye, they showed her Hawkeye post or pre-Endgame. Then how the hell did she not get him during Endgame? Or what the hell is going on? How was Natasha able to find him in Endgame? And War Machine was looking for him. So where has Yelena been this entire time? Did she get blipped? That's what I was thinking, that the post-credit scene was going to be her getting blipped. So now we understood where she had been, because it was confusing. Like, it'd be a different story if they showed Hawkeye post-Endgame, right? Because right after Tony died in Endgame, the scene goes straight to Hawkeye getting his family back. The jet landing, and he runs to get his family.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not a picture from then? You know what I'm saying? So I was confused, and I even thought about, like, okay, we go back pre-COVID, that still would have been early as hell. Like, why wouldn't she go? Okay, if they put the insinuation that she's gonna go after Hawkeye, where has she been going after Hawkeye this long? He's an Avenger. Endgame happened. This is supposed to be between Civil War and Infinity War. So where in the hell has Yelena been unless she got blipped? That's what I honestly thought, that the post-credit scene was going to be with a blip. I thought it was going to be like,
Well, I mean, like I said, it just really depends. Like I said, we don't have all that info yet. That's just something we really have to wait on. Now, I did hear that the Hawkeye series is going to go into when Clint is going to go into the time where Clint Barton was Ronin.
oh, well, he was going rogue.
Yeah. It's going to show more of that. In Endgame, we only got like a couple minutes of it. But in the Hawkeye series, it's going to show his time as Ronin. I don't know how much, but I feel like the Hawkeye series is going to close up is going to close up some gaps. Now the end credit scene, what you just said, I really didn't even think about that. Basically what I thought was, like I said, I don't know where Yelena's been either, but see, like, Yelena really doesn't know all the events that happened on Vormir. You know what I'm saying? She knows that Natasha's dead, but that's really all the info that she's got. I think that, see, Valentina, like, you know what I'm saying, she's spinning her web or whatever. Like, Valentina has, since she is Madam Hydra, or she, you know what I'm saying, or she has that same sort of spirit or whatever, she has something against the existing Avengers. It's like, you know, she's a government official, but like a crooked government official. Like, she's creating her own team of Avengers that are really supposed to be like anti-heroes. You know what I'm saying? That's really what the Thunderbolts are. To see, like, General Ross, you know, he becomes Red Hulk in the comics, but Valentina is trying to create her own.
So you think that in Hawkeye she'll figure it out, and then she'll go against Valentina and be the first kind of leak to, if anybody figures out the whole entire situation, she would be able to give clarity and validity to, because Valentina tried to pin her against Hawkeye when Hawkeye's not the one who did it.
Yeah, you know, I think, like John Walker's motive, of course, is different. He'll probably stay with Valentina in the long run, because, see, the whole John Walker's, you know, stint as, you know, Captain America, like I said, it was always about him trying to fulfill whatever shit he had going on in him. You know what I'm saying? Like he would say throughout the show, you know, I want to be great at this job, but I think he only wants to be great at the job because, you know, he just wants that title for himself. Like, Steve Rogers was Captain America, but he was so selfless about being Captain America. Like, he knew that he had a greater duty. For John Walker, it was more, you know what I'm saying, he was more self-absorbed about his time as Captain America. So, like, you know, like at the end of the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, where he gets his new costume as U.S. agent, and Val gives him the orders and all that stuff. Like, he's really, really excited that he can just, you know, he's like, he kept saying, you know, I'm back. But he just wants to fuck up some shit, you know what I'm saying, and fight people and all that stuff. Steve Rogers had to have a reason for everything that he did. John Walker's just more of a loose cannon, and he's got some things that he has to fulfill within himself, but they're more selfish. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a selfish thing. But like you said, or what you alluded to, I think whatever Valentina is trying to do, of course, you know, I do believe that Yelena Belova will find out the truth or whatever. And, you know, Yelena Belova will perhaps join maybe a couple of the existing Avengers, or a couple of, you know, of the young Avengers or whatever, and, you know what I'm saying, and fight against Valentina and that team or whatever. So I mean, but, you know, at the same time, like I said, you know, we make our guesses, but we won't really know anything until we actually get more MCU shows and movies. I do feel like Hawkeye will kind of fill in the, you know what I'm saying, fill in the blanks a little bit and all that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Valentina in the Hawkeye series too. They haven't announced that yet. They haven't given any clue as to whether she's going to be in there. But she's weaving herself into that side of the MCU storyline, and you know what I'm saying, she's going to become more of a problem. So yeah, she might show up. I don't know.
That was our review on Black Widow. If you haven't gone see it yet, it is in theaters and it's also on Disney Plus for $30. I don't know if I'm gonna pay that $30. I might just wait. Depends on how bad I end up.
I wasn't gonna pay it.
It depends on how bad. I might want to watch it again or something. I might. It's still cheap to go to the theater, but I might peep it. But again, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I want to continue to give you all content. This is my guy, Dizzie Wallace. I appreciate you coming through for the review.
Appreciate you having me, dog.
Next week, I will be back. Looks like we have a low-key season finale. We don't know what the hell's going to go down with that. So I will be back. I will catch you all next time. Peace.
Corp full of cyanide bars, you better pacify. Attempted homicide to my suit and tie. I'm on to the bullshit. I'm on when the
Snoopers gonna snip, snoopers gonna snip, snoopers gonna snip. Bitch, not your bitch.